Hi guys, Chamion here from Food by Chamion. I hope all is well. I am going to do the baking powder biscuit for you all. For that, you will need 3 cups of all-purpose flour. I want to say now, anytime you see AP flour appearing in a recipe, it usually stands for all-purpose flour because you all know we have different types of flour, okay? Self-rising, cake flour, things like that. All-purpose flour, we have different flour now because of all the health conscious things that's going on or trends going on in the world. So for this, you will need 3 cups of all-purpose flour, 1 stick of butter. Let me say now, 1 stick of butter is also equivalent in culinary set measurement to a half cup of butter. I know you all understood that. For my fellow Trinidadians, you might be thinking, where will I get this stick of butter to buy? That's an American thing or an international thing. It is very simple. If you have a recipe and it calls for a stick of butter, it's as simple as getting your block butter and cutting it in half, regardless of whether you cut it horizontal or vertical. It's going to break down to the exact same thing. Having said that, I am going to recap because I was explaining like I usually take the time to do. I was teaching. Let me recap now exactly what you need for this recipe. Again, you need 3 cups of all-purpose flour, 1 stick of butter, 1 cup of milk. You can put some honey in your dough if you like. It's optional, or some sugar, and you will need half a teaspoon of salt of your choice. Remember, I use about 4 different types of salt. It's not an exaggeration. It is the truth. And you will need, 1 tablespoon of baking powder. If you are unsure of all that I just said, comment below and I'll help you. But for recap, here is it again without any explanation. 3 cups of all-purpose flour, 1 cup of milk, 1 tablespoon of baking powder, and 1 stick of butter, which is equivalent to half cup. I'm going to get straight into things. We don't need anything to be room temperature. This behaves pretty much like pastry in the sense that once the fat is cold, it helps to get layers somewhat. You don't expect that kind of crusting and so forth that you'll have with filo pastry or short crust pastry, as it is only Caribbean, okay? So I took out my stick of butter out of its packaging. Please remember, Food by Chamion don't do sponsored content just yet. So this is the stick of butter. I'm going to get it into here. Yes, whole. You don't have to finish with sifting your flour or not, unless it's stored somewhere where it's have a lot of moisture. Sometimes you can tell because the flour is just lumpy or clumpy throughout, okay? This is my tool. It's a pastry kneader or blender, depends on who's referring to it. It will be referred to as different names. And you just want to get it directly in the flour and keep, pressing it until the flour resembles breadcrumbs. Yeah, so this does all the work. I've said on previous demos, if you don't own this tool, simply use a fork. But with the fork method, you will need, you see how I added the whole stick to the flour? You will need to cut it first, so it's going to make your life easier when you are using that fork. Okay, so just get a fork. You will need to get a bowl that's somewhat flatter so you can maneuver with your fork properly. I've tried it. Anything I tell you all is because I've tried it myself and I know it works. The fork method, that is that I'm referring to. I'm just going to get my spatula to take all the clumps of fat out of here. And we are going to go again until we resemble fine breadcrumb. I want to say that I added the baking powder offset. Before I started the demo to record, I added the baking powder. Sometimes I add everything on set, and at other times, I, add the things before I start recording. It's a very straightforward demo too. A lot of persons love the baking powder biscuits. A lot. Some persons with the baking powder biscuit, they will also use buttermilk. You guys remembered a couple of demos I showed you all how to make the buttermilk. If you can't remember, Start by using 1 cup of full cream milk if you are Trinidadian or Caribbean citizen. Full cream UHT milk, not powdered milk. Start by using 1 cup of that and adding 1 tablespoon of white vinegar or 1 tablespoon of lemon juice. Let it sit for a couple of minutes until it somewhat thickens, and there you have your buttermilk. Okay, so back to this demo. You notice the texture, it changed, right? This is what you want to see. When I'm working with butter, I don't ever completely dissolve all my butter. It's for a great reason. It makes a difference when I'm baking. I'm speaking from my own experience. Okay, so you see, you're seeing clumps at different points. If you look right here, you will see it have a clump. I do that on purpose, even with my pastries. Okay, okay, so nice, makes so nice layering and so forth while the baking is going on. I'm going to get the milk straight in at once. If you are hypertensive and you want to try this this recipe, skip the salt altogether, because a lot of times we use butter with salt. It contains salt unless it's unsalted butter. So you don't need that extra bit of salt. It won't make any difference. I'm adding my milk now all at once. If you have those that is done stand mixers, go ahead and use it. Or if you have a machine with dough hooks, go ahead and use it. A lot of my work, even for my Bristol, it's done by hand. I have the tools, but I prefer to do my work by hand, so I barely use dough hooks and machines and so forth. A lot of my work, like 90% of my work, all my work is done by hand. My banana breads, name it, my brownies, it's done with my hand. My hand and a spatula. Like how I'm doing this, I don't fuss to get, you know, machines and things to do these things, okay? So you want to make sure it's in one uniform ball. Yeah, I know you all understood. And you know, then we're going to start to shape and get it onto a baking sheet. You just want to have, always when you're working with doughs and batters, have some flour somewhere that you can dust with. Dust your ball and add some more if you need to and things like that, okay? So at this stage, I'm going to get my hand in. Again, I want to be real with you all. I didn't even, usually when I'm making it, I don't even use my rolling pin. I just freeform it with my hands, because this needs a certain amount of inches for it to really be, you know, baking powder biscuits. So a lot of times I freeform it. And you can see how soft it is, yeah? A quick tip. Use the freshest baking powder and rising agents that you can get. This dough is behaving so brilliantly, you believe it have yeast in it. It doesn't, it's just the baking powder, and that's it. So I'm going to freeform it. Just want to dust and freeform. So it's time to get it out of the bowl and onto the board, my bamboo board. I know sometimes you all know I use the pastry mat, but today I'm going to get it on my bamboo board, okay? I get tons of questions about that mat. It makes life easy also, because instead of having to clean up your counter area, you just simply, you know, wash your mat. Look at the butter in there. That's what I was trying to explain to you all. There is that butter in the dough. And that's why I don't really want it as fine as breadcrumbs when I'm baking. That's what I like to see, okay? So let me just get it somewhat smoother. Although, you know, baking powder biscuit is not this thing that's smooth on top. A lot of times they like the rustic look of it looking. If you might be asking me if you can make this dough ahead of time, yeah, but probably for only one day, and it's so easy to make, why would you make it ahead of time? So it's time to freeform. It is time to freeform. By freeform, I mean just pressing it gently with my my hand. Remember, this is not a flat biscuit, okay? So here will be perfect, and it's not gonna really rise per se. It will do a bit, not much. So now it's time to get that tool to shape it. I have 3 different type of the set tool on hand. That red one, it's a nesting set. Just as you see, the white is nesting different size, and the purple is also a nesting set. It keeps getting smaller, the purple being the largest one. I am going to use the purple. I will use the red one for those of you that might not have this one with the handle. It's the same thing, okay? Let's go. That's one. I just want to put it on top of the dough for you all to see. Yeah, you all saw, right? I'm going to use the red, the traditional red one. Some persons will use the frill side, others will use the smooth side. For biscuits, I want to say it's not important to use the frill side because it's not going to keep the form. If you look at the edges of the simple plain one I use, you are not going to see the form because it's somewhat very rough even without that, okay? So I'm going to use this one for those of you guys that might have like this one, just to see, okay? You just simply move it like that. All the excess that you have remaining, you want to just keep roll it back into a dough or ball until you use up all your flour. I know you all understood what I said, so I won't elaborate or go further with that. Yeah, so this is it. I don't egg wash my own or any such things. I just, you know, get it on a baking sheet. Use parchment. You all know how I feel about parchment, and that's it, more or less. Baking time. Baking time 350 until golden brown. Okay, so like how this bit is here, you just want to just simply get it back into a dough. Gently just get it back instead of, you know, discarding it, just like when you are making cookies. You just get it back into a dough, and then you go again and do the same thing until you can no longer get a couple out of it. So back into a dough, and you go again. It's chill and nice because the butter was chill. The dough itself I'm referring to here now. So, you know, just a bit more pressing, because you want them to bake the same time also, so you can make some too big and some too small, and you know, so forth and so forth. Yeah, so you also we got this other one just like that, right? So that's it, and I'm going to put it on to bake for the same time I just told you all, until it's golden brown. When it's finished baking, when it's exactly now out the oven, get some melted butter on there. Keep watching as I bring it together for you all. So guys, my baking powder biscuits, they are finished baking. They are gorgeous. Remember, a lot of persons will just brush it with some melted butter, okay? So that's all I'm doing. Some persons might not even do that. I want to say now, I didn't say during the demo that it have a lot of different variations of it. They will put cheddar in it, jalapenos and so forth, bacon, anything that one can imagine. But this is the starter point. This is where you want to start when you are making baking powder biscuits, right where I started. And then you can just add your cheddar after you well, not after, right before you add your milk. You can or buttermilk, you can add your cheddar. They are gorgeous. They are just really gorgeous, okay? And they are soft. I need to, you know, to show you guys, they are soft. It's very nice at the top. You also saw that crack line as I pressed into it, right? Remember, these are always very rustic looking biscuits. Okay, so that's what we have. Okay, guys, if you don't know, I'm telling you, Food by Chamion, we are all over social media. We are on Pinterest, we are on Instagram, we have a Facebook page, we have a YouTube channel, all under one name, Food by Chamion. We have a website, www.foodbychamion.com. We have a blog on Tumblr or Tumblr. And we have an email address, which is foodbychamion@gmail.com. Guys, I thank you all for watching. The pleasure, it is my own, and it was my own. Until I'm with you all, bye.